Well, hey everyone. I was just looking at the current edition of The Upper Room, and I'm sure you're familiar with The Upper Room. It's a Christian devotional. And I was looking at this current edition, as I said, and I really love the cover of it. I mean, it's really beautiful. I was really drawn to it. So I'll show it to you. It is a picture of Mary going to see her cousin Elizabeth. And of course, she goes to Elizabeth to tell her that she is with child. And not only that she is with child, but she is pregnant with the child that will become the Savior of the world. She is pregnant with Jesus. And so right after this happens, right after this picture where Elizabeth goes out and greets Mary, that's when Mary bursts out in song, singing, rejoicing about what God has done for her in making her the mother of Jesus. And as I was thinking about this image and this encounter between Mary and Elizabeth, I was thinking about how she couldn't just talk about what God has done for her. She couldn't just explain it in a normal conversation, but no, she had to sing about it. And that's how it is for us oftentimes. Oftentimes it doesn't feel like normal human language can really capture our inner experience. Words cannot express what we're truly feeling. So oftentimes, if we're feeling something really good, something really good is happening, wonderful, and we're so excited about it, it doesn't feel like we can really put it into words how awesome it is, how we're feeling. Likewise, if we're going through something really difficult, it feels like words cannot express the full depth of the pain, the suffering that we're going through in that moment. So sometimes our words just aren't enough. And it seems like this was the case for Mary, that she was so overjoyed that she simply had to sing to express what she was experiencing, feeling inside. And so sometimes songs, music, can help us to express something in a deeper way than simply talking about it does. Because it's not just about the words when we sing, but it's also about the sounds, the inflection. It's about the body movements that we make when we sing. It's the combination of the words, the sounds, the inflection of our voice, the body movements, and all those things together can express what we're feeling in a deeper way than just talking about it. And I think that's true during this holiday season. In the Christmas season, what do we love to do? We love to sing Christmas carols, great Christmas songs and hymns, all during this Christmas season, because they express the hope and the peace, the joy of what this Christmas season means, I think, in a deeper way than simply talking about it does. That's why we love to sing about it, because we can express it in a fuller way. But sometimes even singing something, putting it to music, doesn't fully express what we're feeling. Sometimes the only thing that can fully express or embody our experience is through physical touch or embrace. Let me give you an example of this. So a couple years ago, when my son Rain was still young, I think he was just 1 year old at that point, he and I went shopping. So I took him along, and we had to make a stop in the restroom, as often happens with little kids. So I had to change his diaper, and then I used the restroom, and we washed our hands, and I turned around, and just for a split second did not have my eye on him. And of course, you know what happened? I turned around, and he was nowhere to be found. So I ran over to the stalls in the restroom. I looked in there. He wasn't in there. I ran out, looked in the hallway, didn't see him. Looked both ways, didn't see him anywhere around there. I looked to the next store. I didn't see him. And I was totally freaking out by this point because it'd been probably at least a minute. I was rushing around. I didn't see him anywhere. And I thought, where could he have gone that fast? There's no way he could have gotten far that quickly. Where could he have gone? And of course, he was in the one place that I didn't check. He was right next door in the women's restroom. So he had snuck in there somehow. And when I found him, of course, I didn't just say, "Hey, Rain, it's good to see you. I'm really glad to see you, Rain." No, I picked him up and I gave him a great bear hug, a big bear hug, because that's the only thing that it could express how I was feeling, how overjoyed, how excited I was to see him. And if you have been a parent that's lost a young child, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that sense of relief that you feel in that moment. The only thing that could really express that was by giving him a big hug. And sometimes I like to think about Christmas in that way. I like to think about Christmas as a form of embrace from God. So let me talk about that a little bit more. So we could talk about Christmas and what it means to us, what God has done during this Christmas season through a lecture. You know, we could sit down, I could give you a lecture, I could talk about what happened biblically. We could go through all that. We could write songs about it. And of course we do during this season. We express what happened that way. But I think perhaps another way to think about what God has done for us in this Christmas season is through the lens of embrace. That God has embraced us during this Christmas season. God has come down. He has given us a great big hug through what he has done in Jesus. You know, Jesus has come and been born. He is God made flesh. He is Emmanuel, God with us. And this is like God coming down and giving us a great big bear hug and saying, "This is how much I love you. This is how much I care about you, that I have given you my Son to become one of you, to walk among you." I think that's another way that we can think about Christmas, is as a great big hug from God, showing us how much he cares about us, that we are not alone, but he cares about us enough that he sent us his Son. So we could talk about what God does at Christmas. We could sing about it, or we could imagine it as a great big hug from God. So there's really no message or no big takeaway from this video. It's just offering another way for us to creatively think about what the season means for us. Christmas is like a great big hug. It's like God embracing us, saying, "I love you, I care about you, and that's why I'm giving you my Son." That's what this Christmas season is all about. So think about that, ponder it, and we'll talk to you soon.